boss is how long does mind control last? Well, it's not the duration of the mind control that's going to be a problem. The problem is that the shield wall of the mob is running out. And once that shield wall runs out, then the boss simply does so much damage to the ad that you're going to need another ad that has shield wall cooldown ready in order to survive. So the mind control duration is not a big deal, but the boss will just kill the ad when the shield wall has run out. How long is the shield wall duration? I believe it's 15 seconds or 20 seconds. And so basically what you want to do is you want to, basically as a rule of thumb, on every disrupting shout, you want to rotate the ad. So you have 20 seconds of the ad with shield wall and 5 seconds without shield. That roughly makes the timers like work out. So now we're at Gothic, and on Gothic, the raid is split up into two raids. One is on the so-called living side, where we are watching now, and the other one is on the undead side or spectral side, what you call it. So on here we got ads spawning from these three platforms. That's the only place that the ads can spawn. So you could put an Earthbind totem, or you could put a slow trap on here to make grabbing the mobs a little smoother, but it's not a big deal. The Death Knights can be shackled, and the small unrelenting trainees can be polymorphed, which you don't have to do in the early stages of this fight because there's not that many ads. But later on, it can be helpful if you feel like you're being overwhelmed by ads, that you can polymorph the small ads and you can shackle the Death Knights. If you have a lot of priests on your side, this fight's going to be a lot easier. So what we got over here is a rider. That is high priority when that guy spawns. The other guys are being tanked or polymorphed, as we see here. I think that's a polymorph too. Crowd controlling, and kill the rider first. Rider top priority. The second is the Death Knight, and the third is the unrelenting trainees. So as I said, the raid is split up into two raids, and so what's important here is that on the other side, all the mobs are immune to magic, and that's why all your caster DPS is going to be on this side, right? They'll have nothing to do over there. So all your mages and warlocks are going to be here, and all your like fury warriors and rogues will be on the other side, and then you can sort of balance, DPS on either side depending on what you feel like needs it the most. The mobs, whenever you kill a mob on the living side, the ghost of the mob will fly away and will then land on the other side. That means that if you kill 5 mobs at the same time on the living side, then 5 mobs will spawn on the other side at the same time, like 10 seconds later. So that means that, well, that's good to know, because the mobs on the other side, I believe, are generally considered to be stronger. So that means that even if you feel like these guys, that they're really no big deal, you just kill them all, just get rid of them, that could be a bad idea, because on the other side you're spawning stronger mobs and you're spawning them at the same time, which overwhelms them at the other side. So that is why shackling can be a good idea to avoid killing a Death Knight, for example, which makes it an easier time on the other side. So don't be afraid to CC targets here, even if you feel like there's really no big deal in killing them. It can help on the other side. There's a rider, kill the rider first. This guy is assigned to tanking, so he's obviously trying to grab all the mobs here and get them off DPS and healers.
Could I get a timestamp on where you're talking about? I've been skipping around a little bit.
Well, you can just refresh the Twitch page and then you go you get the jump up to right now where we are. Otherwise, I wouldn't tell you.
Okay, thank you.
Right, so as you see, a couple of shackles are going on here. We have 3 unrelenting Death Knights being shackled at the same time. This is very good. Right? Ideally, you want all your priests on this side of the room so that you can shackle as many mobs as possible. Right? These mobs could technically be shackled until the boss is dead. Right? That is actually, that's a good thing to do. So now we got a timer. No more ads are going to spawn here. The boss is going to come down and he will spawn on this living side here. Now the boss is surprisingly weak. Like, he doesn't have very much health. Generally speaking, if you get to the boss spawning in the room, the fight is pretty much over. You got the kill. And it should be pretty obvious why. The boss does some shadow bolts. Shadow protection potion will help, although the ads also do shadow damage, so maybe it has already absorbed damage by the time the boss appears. Anyway, good. Why not have a shadow protection on this one? So another thing is the boss teleports from side to side every once in a while, but nothing really to worry about. It's now the gate opens, boss is low on health, it's pretty much dead. So that's what I mean by once the boss is spawned, you pretty much got the kill. So the Gothic fight is all about the ads. It's all about not being overwhelmed by the ads. It's all about not overwhelming the other side, even though your side is fine. So, and we're gonna watch what happens on the spectral side. So as a melee DPS over here, that's what it looks like on the undead side. And on the ghosts that I was talking about, they're the ones you see flying down here. They spawn a spectral Death Knight. That's what you're going to be grabbing as a tank. And you see those small ghosts that does arcane explosion. That's the small trainees, right? So the very weak ones on the other side will spawn mobs that do arcane explosion on this side. So that's why you don't want to just like base roll the weakest ones over there, because on this side they do AoE damage, and that can be a pain. So they can be stunned. So good to know. And there's a spectral rider. And there's also a spectral horse, I believe. So when you kill a on the living side, the rider is one mob, but when it dies, he will spawn as himself, and his horse will spawn as another mob on the other side. The horse has, I believe, like some intercept ability. I'm not gonna go through all the abilities. Fuck it. I mean, this, you'll figure it out. So this is your job on the melee side, and you can see the Death Knight can also be disarmed. Tip. Okay, so any question on this fight?
Nope.
Oh, I actually paused the video at the point where it says Spectral Death Knight begins to cast Mana Burn. So the Death Knight can be stunned, so if you see some Mana Burn stuff going on, might as well just keep them stunned as much as possible. Alright, I really need to take a piss, so I will be, let's take a 5-minute break. Then you can, get a water or whatever. So let's continue at 20:45. 5 minutes.